kids, welcome back to Roto Talk.
Hey kids, welcome back. So today is going to be a fun day. We're going to do the hardware and the engine and the electronics. It's going to be 2 days, today and tomorrow. But today we're going to start with the Skiff, doing our motor install, engine install, exhaust, all that good stuff. So before you see it, I did paint it. I did clear coat it and got it all done yesterday. It turned out okay. I like it. The build was very, very, very easy. The finishing in the ceiling was not, okay? And the biggest reason, I think, what the problem is, it wasn't a problem, it was just really long in the tooth to do. And it's the wood they use, that soft ass, I gotta look it up on the website. I don't know my woods well enough to just, that's a poplar, coming from Shrek's swamp that was underwater for 30 years. I don't fucking know. But man, that stuff, it just wicked up wood like crazy, or wicked up fluids like crazy. You put sealer on, gone. And I mean, thickened sealer, fiberglass, you name it, man. It's boom, like balsa, but it's not balsa. Balsa, I know. It's almost pine-ish, but I don't think it's pine. I don't know. I know I could solve this mystery by looking it up. Maybe I'll put a little thing in the description. But other than that, the build was great. That was super easy. I mean, I think if I were to do this off camera, I think I would have had the entire boat finished. I'd say a day. A full afternoon. So probably 2 days without paint and seal. So real easy build to do, and that 2 days is pretty much just waiting for crap to dry. A couple things I would change. One, the type of wood. Two, I would definitely go with the rosewood or birch or whatever they're using in Zip Kit stuff, or ML. They all use the same, pretty much the same thing. I would change the wood type, and laser cut would be really nice, but to be honest, their CNC cut worked really, really well. I was not expecting it to be that good. But it did its job. There was a bit of shipping damage here and there, which, I mean, it came from the Netherlands, for crying out loud. I mean, what do you get? And really soft wood in a big box. And changing the type of wood used would help that. The other thing I didn't love, and I know they do this for shipping, but like some of the really long parts of the stripping on the sides of the boat, those were cut in half on purpose for shipping, so it's not in a box that long, it can be in a box, whatever. That was a pain in the ass to assemble those. I didn't like that because it's right on a curve. And but do I recommend this kit? I haven't driven it yet, obviously. Yes, the build is very, very easy. Much easier than I anticipated. However, it's again, that wood's tricky. And if I were to do it again, which I might, knowing me, I'll build another one. I'll seal it differently. I have a couple ideas, but in hindsight. So anyway, enough yammering. Let's get this boat up here and we'll take the measure of it. You guys remember the Rico Racing Jersey Skiff, which is my favorite one. That's my Captain Kidd that we did no review on. This is the Insane Hulls Jersey Skiff I love this boat too. That one's my beater. So here's the one we built. Ta-da! Didn't turn out too bad. It's already dirty and I haven't even done anything yet. You see the dirt back there. I got dead bugs from last night hanging out. There's some dirt on the sides. But this was the Miss Liberty. Okay. Turned out pretty nice. So red, white, and blue, obviously. Going with a little American theme here. Now the JS42 I don't love. Usually I put the JS42, well, that one I put in the center. Okay. Well, the other side of this I did put up here. There's nothing on the other side except for JS42, which stands for Jersey Skiff, and my number 42. So yeah, like I said, she's dirty. Don't judge. Little bits and bobs of crap. I left my shop door open really late last night, and you can see all these frickin' mosquito-looking things everywhere. Whole boat was full. So 1776. Obviously, we all know what that means, to 2023. All the decals are under the clear coat, so they're forever. What I did here with the hatch, this part's the part they supply in the kit. This is wood. This, you're supposed to take wood and glue it to the edge and make a lip. Okay, I did not. I 3D printed this. Then I took vinyl wrap that's wood grain. Okay, there's wood grain vinyl wrap, and I put it so we have a centerpiece, and I put that wood grain under the clear, and it looks pretty good. And so I did the same thing with the edges here. I need to neaten up these corners a touch with that foam. I did the foam. That's just more of a decor, just to help trim out the edge. And I did put that foam around the inside as well. So yeah, pretty, I'm happy with it. The red, white, and blue turned out. I have not decided if I did miss that. That pisses me off. It's forever, because this is all clear coated again. It's okay, you can't see it. But I'm debating, I might put rails in here and make it so you can drop some drivers in. So it basically have a piece that sits on the radio box to give it support, and it would be hold in with magnets and have two guys driving, which I might still do, but that's going to take a long time to print. I don't know how this thing gets so dirty. But anyway, so yeah, it turned out really well. I don't have too many complaints for a first build of this kit, and painting it outside. I didn't even put up my paint tent, so you know that's neither here nor there. Now, of course, I did not measure this before we started, and the engine will not fit with zip kit's mounting. Now, what did I do with it? Where's the engine? Hang on. So what we're going to do, here's the engine we're putting in. This is a 29.5. This is the GZR off of, hang on. I took her off the stand just to save me some height. This is a large boat. Just for measurement purposes, bow to stern, 45 inches. Our width, our beam, 17. And our height is 8.5. It's a big boat. Okay? So, what we're going to do, here's our engine. Now, you saw the video, you may have seen the video. This one I'm actually using a clutch in, because I want this to be my gentleman's runabout boat. I want to be able to go slow, go fast, and just putt around the lake if I want. And you probably saw the video on the clutch. This is the engine out of my black cracker that I dismantled and threw away yesterday just because I don't need 5 crackers. How many crackers are there? We're going to use the velocity stack on here. It just helps keep some water out. But of course, the holes don't line up, which is okay. I kind of expected that. So all we're going to do, I might even, let's see. So I'm going to line up the two that do fit in the back. I don't know what kind of bracket they use in the Netherlands to draw this up with, but that's okay. And I'm going to simply put some new bolts in there. Not a big deal. So let me grab the hardware for this, and we'll mark it out, and we'll be copacetic. Be right back. Easy peasy. We're going to take some blue thread lock. Now, how I always do my boats, I will thread lock this part, but I don't thread lock this nut down here. Because whenever I remove a boat, that's usually how I take them apart. Yeah? Sorry, smoking hot wife interruption. So, I always thread lock this part, but I do not thread lock the nuts on the inside. Because that's how I always remove my engines. I never remove this part. Come on, get in there. I have to open this back up. This is going to be one of those videos where I get interrupted every 3 seconds. It's shaping up to be that way. So, what we're going to do now, I opened up, I had some sealer in there. Of course, there's a mechanical pencil. Alright, so, you can see here, their original hole from the kit is right there. It is sealed. I don't have to reseal it, obviously. So I'm going to raise this up. You never want your motor sitting on the ground. So I'm just basically right at the top edge of this. I'm going to center this up. and that's where we're putting our holes. So, one right there, and one right there. However you want to make this template, you go right ahead. Whether it's a piece of paper, whatever. So what we're going to do, this is going to be fairly simple, straightforward if you will. I'm going to take these back out. Nothing's set in stone yet. I know where the centers of those holes need to be. And for a guide, take this out. I'm just going to use a good old-fashioned washer like this. We'll take a drill bit, stick it through. Just for marking purposes. So I'm just going to center this washer up. And I'm going to put a punch mark right in the center of that hole. It's not the space shuttle, guys. If you're off half a mil, it's not going to affect anything. If you're off 2 mil, you might be screwed. So, hang on a minute. Got me a new drill from Zip Kits. So, even this one's not. This is the one thing I do not have a spare of. Spares of everything else in the world. Okay. Now, what I mean is my drill bits drill. Whatever we did with that, the hell did I do with it? There it is. I just literally, right when I was starting to do this video, broke the tip off. This is going to make this hopefully not too messy. Not too bad. But I need to get another one. So this little gizmo here, I buy at Zip Kits for a very cheap amount of money. Comes with the bit, comes with this 45 thing. Frickin' butt saver, man. It's awesome. So, let's drop in our motor. See how inaccurate I was. It happens. But again, not the space shuttle. You've got slotted holes in these engine brackets. The brackets that I use are from Zip Kits. I use them on every single boat except one. The other one I've got's the other popular brand, I can't remember. But I like to stick to using the same bolts and bracket setup on every boat. That way, if I want to swap engines out in a quick hurry, I don't have to re-drill and do all this other crazy stuff.
So I got that going for me.
Comes in real handy. So look at that. Fits like a glove. All right. Other one. I'm not going to Loctite these in just yet. I think I did put Loctite on the one, but we got to just pull this out again anyway. So look at that. Perfect. All right. But I am going to snug it up. Now with the clutch, if I do decide I don't want to use clutch, I'm waiting for my bolts to come in because I need new bolts. It's no big deal because the shaft length shouldn't even change because the collet in this are the same. A normal collet in that clutch should be the same length. At least they have been in the past. I don't know. Let's see. All right, there's our motor. Motor. Got plenty of room. Plenty of room, obviously. Radio box. My radio box could go in a number of places, but probably can go right there. Fuel bag probably right there. Easy peasy. Now, we need to figure out where our, it's pretty obvious where it's going to go. We need to put in our stuffing tube. So in this particular boat, I'm going to put in a stuffing box. So we're going to have a separate shaft tube. We're going to have the stuffing tube coming out of the bottom of the boat. Sorry. And then we're going to have the tube shoves into that. Let's see. This is pretty short order here. Let's see if our broken drill bit worked for that. Yeah. I mean, I can already tell pretty much where this is going to go. Yep. Okay. So what I might do is take a piece of shaft, small piece, So I always, not always, but usually save the ends of these drive shafts after I cut them, and I use them for this. So if we put this in there lengthwise, if I cut it right about there, it should be copacetic. Where's my damn marker? God, bless. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this piece of scrap right there with the Dremel, and then we're going to slide that in right there, just to make sure that right there is where that alignment's going to be. Okay, so I'll cut this off, slide that in, be right back. Alright, so now what we're going to do, this is why I save those little pieces. It's perfect. It shows me right where that's going to be coming. Okay, we'll mark it. Push down on it a little bit. You can see we're going to make it a little bit oversized because we're going to fill it with epoxy when we put it in. I'm going to take a guide bit, just a normal drill bit, but smaller than what I need, and I'm going to draw it at about that angle. Now, to find that angle, we can use this if you really want to, and you can angle it with the drill, but I plan on making it a little oblong, so we will put this in and we'll set the engine with the stuffing box. So we'll let me drill this hole. I'll probably take a rat tail file, hollow it out a little bit, and then we'll have to put this thing back on a stand, get it set up, and I'll show you how to mount that. Be right back. Alright, we're back. So we popped the motor back in, got my hole drilled through there. So I used the pilot, the small bit, and then I used a step bit from this side. That way it gets narrower on that side, not by much. So I make a little divot point in there. Made this a little larger with, now remember again, this is super soft porous wood, so I'm hoping the epoxy will just really soak into that guy and just kill it, which it will. I'm not worried about it at all. And I'll show you what I did on the bottom when we flip it over. So now what I do, you've got your actual shaft tube. Where'd my stuffing box go? There it is. Alright, and here is your stuffing box, or your stuffing tube, and this is your shaft. This is what's going out to your strut. This is going to get cut. This is permanently in the boat. This is temporary, okay? And this fits into there, okay? Couple schools of thought on how to do this. I cut it first. You can cut it after. You can glue this whole thing in and cut it after. That's fine if that's how you want to play it. Oh, hang on. I'm using my buddy JJ's stand and it totally screwed me up. How did I even do that? Alright. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and we can still cut it off more. I'm going to say right about there. And I will do another trim. Okay. I'm going to take my Dremel. Like how exact that is? Alright. I will deburr this. Okay, slide this in. Yep, that's going to be about perfect. And I'll show you what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this edge off, and then I'm going to take a rat tail file and do. This is what I set my tubes with. So we're going to go into here. I should have used a different stand. Make my life easier. And I'm going to put that in the motor. Just like that. And then we're going to center our tube around it. So I'll be right back. We're going to take some alcohol and prep this area. I use, as you guys know, denatured alcohol for everything. Okay? Everywhere we're going to do this. Then, I did make this stuffing tube a touch long. I will trim this after it's in the boat. It's about that much too long. But I use that part I'm going to cut off. I deburred this edge, that end there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 80 grit or whatever sandpaper you want, and we're going to gnarl this thing up. Easy, okay? That's going to give our epoxy something to bite onto. Now we're going to slide this onto the tube. And I want it right there. Alright, now what I'm going to do, and I'll show you this in a minute. Where's my CA glue? Tiny bit of wherever. Not a ton. This is just to hold it. Okay? I'll show you why. Alright. I gotta re-clean that. Okay. Alright. Now, see that? Not too bad. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to flip the boat over. I'll show you what I done did. Never mind little holes. I didn't get real anal with the bottom. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our tape and we're going to mask this area right here. Alright? Let me grab some blue tape. Alright, so we're just going to take some painter tape. This is going to keep everything from oozing out. Now, the way I do this, not the tape part, but the glue epoxy part, you have to tape this well, because I get mine super, super, super hot and thin, so it really soaks in. Okay? That's all we're doing. Very, very simple. So, rub it down the center first. There you go. Just like that. Now, another thing I do is I'll take a razor blade. Try to just cut that first layer of tape. Just like that. And we put another one over it. That should keep us from getting a big nasty clump of epoxy. Or epoxy. Okay. All we're going to do. Then, I'm going to get my heat gun ready. Shit. Yep, hang on. Alright, so hopefully y'all can see this. We're going to mix up some epoxy and we're going to thicken it up. Quite a bit, probably. And we're going to put it, I'm going to mix up 2 different batches. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to thicken this one up a little bit and put it in here. But I'm not going to go like crazy thick with it. The one that I'm going to really go crazy thick with is going to be on this side of the bulkhead and this side of the bulkhead, because I want it's going to be a vertical adhesion, and I really want that to stick and set up nicely. Okay, so we're going to take some epoxy. Okay, good. We're going to take some of our cocaine. Like I said, I'm not going to go. I need to order more of this. I think I've spilt and dumped more than I've used. Stuff blows away as soon as you fart.
Oh, somebody's stuffing a duck.
Okay, so we're going to mix this up. Mix it over your cocaine pot here. Micro balloons, sorry. That way any excess goes back in the can. Pay attention. Yeah, 3 women in this house. It's amazing I get anything built. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to pour this in, not neatly. You'll see why in a minute. Like, you guys are like, you don't do nothing neatly, dude. Alright, so by heating it up, you do 2 things. 1, you speed up the kicking process, so you better be done. It's going to go real quick. Number 2, I like getting it really, really, really thin. That way it really soaks down. And if I have to sand the bottom a little bit, so be it. But, and that's what we do with there. So the next thing, I'm going to mix up another batch. Yeah, we can put a little bit in here, but, oh shit. See what happens. Let me get that out of there before I forget. Okay. So we're going to mix this up. Super thick. Now this isn't really for holding anything in place. This batch is really just to kind of keep it from vibrating. That bottom one we did this and not heat it up, because if you heat this up it's just going to run and you're just going to end up with gaps. And might neaten this up a little bit there. Okay. There we go. Alright. Take Zerag. Nice thing is, I did the interior of this boat white. Of course, you're going to see all the dirt and grime when we run, but at least you won't see the epoxy as well. Alright, and I'm going to take some alcohol and put it on this rag as well. Okay. And that will help you get off that sticky. See? Get rid of that schmutz. There we go. And like I said, if you want to cap that off again after it cures up, go ahead. I don't think I'm gonna. It'll be perfectly fine. That's not gonna vibrate, but the super glue CA is what's keeping us in there. All right. So we'll let this kick off for 20 minutes or so, and we're gonna set our pipe. Be back. All right, we've had time to cook. Excuse me, and let's see what happened here. So we flipped the boat over, obviously. I always forget to pull the tape. I have literally done maidens with boats and had the tape on the bottom. Like, dumbass. Alright. Never said I was good. Alright. Pull this off. This is just, there you go. Looks good. Pretty well seated. I'm happy with that. Now, pull that out. And I'm going to cut this off. It does not need to be that long. It is too long. Obviously, be careful doing that. Don't cut through the bottom of your boat. Take our file. I don't care about the outside as much. I mean, you don't want water drag. Okay? It's the inside. Or else that tube ain't gonna fit. Now, the other thing we do, hang on a minute. Should be using a flat file. That's alright. Fuck it. Good enough. Alright. The other thing we do, while she's upside down, let's make sure that fits. If you look, I've got it all the way up. And that's going to be perfect for our strut. We don't even have to cut this thing, but we are going to anneal it. Let's see where it's at on the other side. Nope, see, it's all the way up. You don't want that. I'm going to bring it right to there. Double walled, baby. What the hell's in there? Oh. Alright. So right there is going to be our annealing spot. We'll probably trim. We'll have to trim a little bit off, but we can't do that until we get our strut on there. So now, man, my markers just keep flying away. Fly. Alright, whatever. So we're going to anneal it from here to here. Be plenty. Alright. Now, if you guys haven't already watched it, watch my annealing video, but all we're going to do is we're going to get this glowing a nice red, preferably with lights off. If you watch my video on it, look through my videos, there's a whole thing about annealing, what it is, how it is, the myths, the legends, all that crap. But I'm going to do this off camera. You guys go watch the video. And then I will also, after I anneal this, what we're going to do is we're also going to shine this up with a real fine grit. Not to get grab, but we're going to do like a 220. We're going to spin this a little bit, do a 220 on here. That way when we drop our solder, we're not going to do it right now, but when we drop our solder on there, it'll be a nice solid give. So the next thing we're going to do is our exhaust. So let me get it ready. We're going to pull the engine out. We're going to put our exhaust in. And we're going to line everything up. Be right back. Alright, so when I cut my header, I cut it for, this is 13.5 inches right there, give or take. Not perfect, but pretty close right there, 13.5 inches. You want at least an inch, very minimum, an inch of extra pipe. Okay? And we're going to slide this in. Out there, that's okay. It's going to get screwed up the second I throw it in the water anyway. So, now, we're just I'm not even going to bolt the motor in. What I'm doing, that's give or take where the motor's going to be. Don't worry about vertical because you've got adjustment vertically, okay? But you want to make sure, and if you want to throw in a couple bolts, then we can, just to make sure our X and Y are right. That's sideways. We can do that. But again, not the space shuttle. This isn't super critical. Now, this is I think a 1.5 inch. I did not do a 2-inch offset. I don't think. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to aim this down. See that? That's where I'm putting my hoe. Easy enough. So we're going to grab a pencil. And we're just going to mark, give or take. Now you notice, even if I go 13.5 inches, which is right-ish there, we don't hit all the way. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to pull this back out. Alright. Kick this up. Put them off to the side. I love these epoxy cups, man. Look at this. Fun. Oh, cool. Right? Alright. So then what we're going to do, what I did, I'm going to get rid of the whole, well, no, I guess we need this. I bought the Thunderbolt exhaust kit from Zip Kits. Okay? So that comes with some zip strips, which I'll put in my cup up here. Good enough. An aluminum extension pipe, which I don't think we'll really need. Some heat-proof silicone extension. And that's what I want. Okay? We're going to use this extension like that. We're going to cut it, obviously. And we're going to drill a hole in the hull with this bit. I may have to even cut this because I want a little bit of vibration. I want a little bit of hose. I don't even think I'm going to have to put a pipe mount on this because it's just that much. And this will be the pipe mount. A Thunderbolt, you have to support the pipe, but in this case, I think we'll be okay. All right. So I'm just going to drill a pilot hole right where I made that mark. Then we're going to take our stepper bit, drill it in the back until this comes through, and we're done. We're going to put it in. All right. Very, very fine threads on this. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what I did. Be right back. The thing about working on big boats like this, I mean, height and width, is you've got so much room. I've hit my whole drill back there. It was fine. Now, take this. Perfect fit. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure I'm going to cut it from the second ring back. So I'm going to do, not this ring, but this ring right here. I'm going to cut it right there. I think. Am I going to do that? Maybe not. I think we're going to have to cut this. And I'd rather cut it now when it's outside the boat than have to take it in and out. So I'm going to literally cut this right there, okay, with my Dremel disc. Cut that off real quick. I'm going to take Loctite, and one thing I've noticed, these things vibrate loose. Even though they're such a fine thread, I actually do take a socket, a big socket, and I usually to the point where if like this boat gets destroyed and I want to rip all the hardware off of it, this gets thrown away because I can't get them back off, because these things do tend to vibrate. And I will also seal the edges of that hole to make sure that no epoxy or no water gets to it, because it is a little bit oversized. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut it right there. Be right back. Alright, so there's our socket. Here's our thread lock. We're going to take this. Okay. Show you when it's done. Okay. Then what I do is I just stick my finger in the end. It doesn't have to be death tight, you know, but you want it to have some stick. Socket. That ain't going nowhere. There you go. You couldn't have been asked for a better placement. And then there you go on the inside. And I may still have to trim it. Realistically, what you should do is stick the engine in again, make sure it fits, but this boat's so big that I can easily get my Dremel in there and whack it off. Haha, if I need to do that again. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some heat wrap. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, so this is a used pipe, by the way. That's what a couple seconds on a polishing wheel on your bench grinder does. Alright, so we're going to take this. We're going to take our clamp. Think about which side you want it on. In this case, it really doesn't matter. If it's a hydroplane, sometimes it does. If you don't have a lot of room, it takes a hot minute to think that. And we're going to set this for approximately 13.5 inches to the bell from the exhaust ports. It's about right. Pretty close. It's close. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be adjusting this anyway, right? But we want to get it reasonably close because I want to wrap this guy. What wrapping is going to do is it's going to dissipate the heat, protect the inside of the boat a little bit. All right, good enough. Just doesn't have to be torqued out. Then what I do, only use 1-inch wide fiberglass wrap for this stuff. The bends are too extreme, and if you use 1 inch, complete pain in the day. Is I soak it in hot, soapy water. Okay, and then we wrap. We're going to tuck this. The problem with the soap is it makes it really slick, but I found when I used to do motorcycle headers that soaking it in hot water with Dawn really just made it shrink up when it got hot and do really nice things. Okay. Alright, and what you want to do, this is going to discolor horribly, by the way. See that? That's why I don't do it inside the boat. The dye just literally burns. This thing will be white in a week. It won't even be. So, get it as tight as you humanly can. Tight is good. Because when this dries, now usually what I'll do, is I'll do a wrap like this, and then I'll fire up the engine. Or I'll take a torch to it and burn off the water, and it shrinks like instantly. But even air drying, it's still going to shrink. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that clamp too much because we're going to be probably adjusting this a little bit. This is not a race boat, it's a skiff. Okay. I'm not worried about it. I probably won't even adjust it, to be honest. I'm a sport driver driving a fun boat, not a race boat. Okay, let's get that a little bit. That's the joint to the pipe. We're just going to go up it to the burn point, give or take. Good enough. Alright. Just like that. We take metal zip strips. Hang on a minute. Sorry about that. And I always use 2. So if you look at these, they have a little ball bearing in here. They're a cinch tie is what they are. They cinch up. It's not a zip strip. You slide it through there. You slide it in, and you can't pull it back. I'm going to do that with 2 of them. These are metal, usually stainless. These are coated, but either way, it doesn't matter. So we're going to make sure this is nice and tight. Hopefully this comes through on video. And I take one. Alright. Just like that. Okay. Then you take yourself a needle nose pliers and you're going to roll it back. At the same time, push down on it. And that will make it stupid tight. Alright? It'll get tighter, trust me. So, around this one, I always do 2. Alright? And a smaller needle nose will be in your favor. Let's see, do I have one up here? This one's a little bit tinier. So we're going to tighten this guy up. And what I do is I just curl it. There is a touch to it. If you're ever going to do this, buy extras. Buy extra these metal ties because you'll screw up a few. Okay? Then I cut these off with a Dremel. They get stupid sharp. Don't cut them with a knife cutter. Trust me. Now, anybody out there watching this, if you have a better way to get these things tight, please let me know, because that's the best way I have found. And if you have a better way, I would love to learn from you, so please let me know. Alright? Now we're going to put this... Damn it! We're going to put this motor in the boat. Motorboat. Alright, we're going to put this motor in the boat. We're going to call it a day for today. Get this video up. Alright. Be right back. Right. So, how I play this is I take this guy and I put it on the end of this. First, lube it up a little bit. It helps, trust me. Just some WD-40, something like that. It'll be alright. Slide her in. Like that. And then I just guesstimate how far it's going to go back to the pipe. So, let's grab our engine. Again, not bolting it in. Okay. Try not to totally screw up your brand new paint job. And I just want to line it up with the holes. I don't think... See that there? I'm going to bring it to right about there. And if I can find my damn Sharpie marker, make my life easier. But right about there. Alright. Cut that. Alright. Sorry if I cut you off. There's the mark we made. We're going to cut that right about there. Just pretty much in half in this piece. This is not the piece that came with the kit, actually. This is a different one that I just found laying around. Alright. And I'm just going to slide that on. Like that. Slide the pipe in. Just like this. And it looks like I can use a bigger piece of pipe. Bigger piece of that. I misjudged it by about ½ an inch. So that's alright. I got tons of this stuff because these come with all those kits I buy and I never use them. So we'll just use this big one. It's fine. slide her in. Now, the other thing you want to do after this is set is put a zip strip around it. And like I said, in these boats, they're so freaking easy. This is going to add not only length, which we need, but it's going to add vibration protection on this big old pipe. See how that works? Very simple. And then once we bolt this engine in, we'll put the zip strips around inside there using my zip strip tool. You can just use needle nose pliers, put the zip strip on, twist it just like we did the metal ones, only just use on plastic. Plastic will be okay. And that's it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take these, it's going to go bolt, lock washer, reel washer, thread lock in. And we're going to tidy this engine up and let it cook. Now, I am not going to make anything permanent right now because I do have new bolts coming tomorrow and I have to yank this engine out anyway. So I think for the time being, I'm not going to zip strip anything, whatever. I'm going to put these in just so I don't lose them because that's what I do. I'm a professional loser. Take that however you want. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would agree with that. But just as for status quo, we got to trim this right before we say goodnight. I want to see if the old shaft fits. I really doubt it. Oh, I can't. Well, I guess we do have it, kind of. We didn't do the shaft yet. That's okay. So this looks really nice. I dig it. Nice and tight. Now, what this will allow you to do is if you have to bring your pipe out or even in, we're on the taper with this rubber. So we're going to have 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch of play each way and still be able to have a nice tight pipe. It's not going to vibrate the crap out of the transom. It's not going to crack the pipe, anything like that. Just for grins, I'm going to take this old shaft. This is the shaft out of the Cracker, which is the boat that we robbed the parts off of. Oh, it is going to work. Look at that. I actually have to cut it. That cracks me up because usually these things take, well, like Thunderboats are the longest shafts you're going to have. They're like the John Holmes of boats. All right. But these are pretty long too. This is a huge boat, right? And yeah, that looks good. I like it. It looks really good. All right. So we got our stuffing tube in. Let that cure tonight. We got our header wrap on. It'll keep you from getting these types of burns, which is nice. But it also helps dissipate the heat off the engine. And it for surrounding areas that are wood like this, it's a good idea because we're going to have a hatch over this, right? We got our exhaust port in. Looks good. And I think that's it for today. I think it's Friday night, so I'm going to go spend some time with the family. So tomorrow, I'm hoping to finish this boat up, like all of it. Might be 2 videos, depends on how long it gets, because we still have to do the hardware on the outside. We still have... it's all easy shit, really. Nothing. The hard part's done of this boat. It really is. Oh, there it is. I was looking for that. But yeah, so we should be golden. And so until then, guys, keep dry side up. Bye.
Relax, don't do it when you wanna go to it.